Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be my best in beauty for the year 2016. A, cannot believe that we're going into 2017. That is absolutely crazy. B, I tried to narrow this down to, a reasonable amount of products. I tried my hardest, but with that being said, you might want to grab a snack, grab a cup of coffee, or grab a glass of wine. You do you. But if you're interested in seeing what my 2016 best in beauty products are, then just keep watching. So I figured I would pick a primer, and I tried many primers, high-end drugstore, and I just keep going back to the Makeup Forever Step 1 Equalizer Primer. I love the consistency of this primer. It doesn't feel too oily, because some primers like the Maybelline Fit Me and the Smashbox Photo Finish, they're good, they're decent primers, but they just go on so oily, and you really got to be conservative with how much you put on your fingers. Even though they're oil free, they feel like really slippery and oily. But this one, it just goes on the skin so beautifully, so nicely. I never have any issues with it, and no matter what primer I try, I always go back to this one. And for the year of 2016, it got a lot of use because I almost need a new tube. So I would say that the primer for 2016, in my opinion, and I know it's a great primer in general for everybody, is the Makeup Forever Step 1 Equalizer. Okay, so I narrowed it down to 2 foundations this year, and the first foundation is, and I believe I might have mentioned this in 2015, but I think 2016 was a phenomenal year for the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. This foundation is my favorite high-end foundation. It's oil-free, it goes on so beautiful, it doesn't look cakey, it's medium coverage, and it's basically like your skin but better, and it just really makes you have that natural looking foundation look, almost like you're not wearing foundation. So I absolutely love this foundation. It comes with a pump, which makes it even 10 times better than having to go like this all the time. But I would highly recommend this foundation over any other foundation, especially from Sephora or Ulta. The Too Faced Born This Way in 2016, I think I have 6 different shades in this, if that just goes to show you how much I love this foundation. So yeah. And then the next foundation actually did come out in 2016, and I was skeptical at first at trying it, but a few months ago I decided to try it, and ever since then I have not stopped using it. It's the Milani 2-in-1 Conceal and Perfect foundation. This foundation is such a good drugstore foundation, and honestly, it might be my favorite. I've mentioned the Maybelline Fit Me foundations a million times. They are my favorite drugstore foundations, but this one I think crept up and just took the #1 spot. This foundation, it says full coverage, and it gives you that full coverage look, but it doesn't feel full coverage and cakey like some full coverage foundations can be. It goes on the skin really well. It blends out really nice. When you do put it on, I will say that it might look a little cakey, but once you set it with setting powder, it looks beautiful. I have it on today. I absolutely love it. You can't go wrong with this foundation for $10 at the drugstore, and for the year of 2016, this foundation was absolutely incredible. So I was able to narrow it down to 1 concealer. This concealer did come out in the year of 2016, and at first, I actually didn't like it, and I had to really give it a go and really try it out, and then I instantly fell in love with it. But it's the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This is in the shade light medium. I have the shade medium as well. But this concealer really blends out beautifully. I don't know why I didn't like it in the beginning. I don't know. I feel like it just looked weird. Maybe I was just used to using my other concealers. But this concealer really is beautiful. It really looks natural, just like the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. It just looks really natural. It's oil-free, which is great. And it doesn't look cakey underneath the eyes, where you have your fine lines right there. It doesn't look cakey at all, and it just blends out beautifully. It's a nice creamy consistency. It's not too drying, and I absolutely love it, and that's all I can say about it. And for 2016, this concealer definitely was up there. I think it was released over the summer. I'm not really sure, but this concealer had a really good year. So I was able to just narrow it down to 1 setting powders. I feel like lately I'm just becoming a setting powder junkie, but I feel like I say this about every single category of makeup. But I believe actually I did pick both of these, or I did pick these up in 2016. I don't think they came out in 2016, but I know that they were really popular. But this is the NYX HD finishing powder, and I love to use these finishing powders underneath my eyes as a setting powder for underneath my eyes. I don't use it for my whole face, but it doesn't mean that you can't. I'm just weird, and I have to have a setting powder for my face and a setting powder for my eyes. But you can use it for, your whole face as well. But these setting powders I mean, they do what they say. They really give you an HD effect underneath your eyes. I have the shade Banana as well. And what I love about them is when you do put them underneath your eyes, it doesn't make you look overly cakey like some other setting powders can do. I mentioned before the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. Since it's a loose powder, I don't like to put it underneath my eyes because it really gives me that wrinkly, cakey look underneath my eyes. Whereas this doesn't. It's an absolutely beautiful setting powder, and the best part about it is that you can get it at Ulta because it's considered drugstore. I think you can get these at CVS as well, but I know that these are $10, and I know Ulta does deals like buy one, get one 50% off or whatever, so look out for that. But you cannot go wrong with this setting powder, and for 2016, I feel like you saw these a lot, either the Banana or the translucent shade, but these are phenomenal setting powders, and I would highly recommend them. Okay, so I couldn't narrow it down to 2 bronzers. I don't think either one of these came out in 2016, but I got a lot of use out of them, so I am considering them my favorites for 2016. But the first one, it's just a tried and true. It's MAC Give Me Sun. No matter what bronzer I try, I always go back to this one. I need to buy a new one, like seriously. I love these because they literally last so long. Like MAC is more pricier than most makeup. I think this is like $30. This is considered a mineralized skin finish. But what I will say is that this lasted me I don't know, maybe like a year and a half, 2 years I want to say, and I've hit pan on it. But this bronzer is such a beautiful color. It's so finely milled, the powder, that it just blends on your skin so beautifully. You can't go wrong with it. I feel like this is a very universal shade for, most skin types. It just gives you that really like flushed look, like you just laid out in the sun, hence it's called Gimme Sun. It does have sheen in it, I believe, but it's very subtle, and it's just so pretty, and you just can't go wrong with it, and I would highly recommend it to anybody. But for 2016, I literally did not put this down, and as you can tell, I've hit pan on it, but I would highly recommend this bronzer. And then another bronzer that actually got a lot of love from me, and I feel like it's very underrated on YouTube, but I absolutely love it, and it's the Balm Desert Bronzer slash Blush by TheBalm. That's a mouthful, but it's just I want to actually compare it to, like, shade wise, I want to compare it to Give Me Sun. So it's it's a little bit darker than Give Me Sun. It's a little bit cooler than Give Me Sun, but I love it. Again, it's just a very finely milled powder for bronzing. It doesn't give you a muddy look, because I hate when you go to contour or bronze and you just get that muddy effect. But this goes on really smooth. I absolutely love it, and it's just, I mean, I've used it as both before. Well, I don't really use it as a blush. I mean, I consider this more of a bronzer color. But for days that you don't want to apply blush, it's just going to give you that beautiful flushed color. So for 2016, these two both were great bronzers for me, and between the two, that's pretty much what I used. I felt the need to throw in a setting spray because this setting spray is my ride or die, and for 2016, it just continued to be. But it's the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray. This stuff is no joke. It's serious. If you want your makeup to last all night, you need to use this because it literally is not going anywhere. I absolutely love it. I've hyped about it a million times. I'm sure you guys have seen it all over YouTube, and it's oil-free, and I can't say enough words about it. It literally is a staple in my makeup routine, so I would highly recommend this if you are in the market for a setting spray. And for 2016, I feel like this was a really popular one as well. I was gonna save lip products for last, but I decided to do them second to last because I wanted to save palettes for last, because in my opinion, palettes are the most exciting. So I narrowed it down to 3 different brands, and the 3 like colors that I wore the most, I feel like, this year. I feel like 2016 was another year for liquid lipsticks. I know 2015 is when they really became a thing. 2016, same thing. Liquid lipsticks took over the world. All different types of liquid lipsticks, all different colors. I mean, I don't even wear regular lipstick anymore. So 2016 was the year of Kylie Cosmetics. I believe her liquid lipsticks came out in 2016, but I mean, in general, if you had to like pick, I'd say Kylie Cosmetics was 2016. It was her year. She just kept coming out with makeup. Her liquid lipsticks are probably the most popular out of her whole entire line. So I only have 2 shades because these things are so hard to get your hands on. They sell out instantly. They're never available. But I picked the shade because I did wear this a lot this year, the shade Candy K. I have Cocoa K as well, but it's just a really pretty nude, rosy nude color. And I like the way that these liquid lipsticks smell. They are they're a pretty good formula, but I do want to say that they are very drying, like very drying. So what I do when I am going to wear these, I put, chapstick or lip balm underneath before I apply these, because I have found that this formula, it just gets really drying. But the colors are really pretty. She just keeps coming out with more colors. So yeah, that is Candy K. Absolutely love it. And staying on the subject of liquid lipsticks, you can't say liquid lipstick without mentioning Colourpop, because they have hundreds of shades. I feel like they headed the whole liquid lipstick bandwagon back in 2015. But I own so many that I kind of like had to stop buying them for a while. But again, for 2016, I think they came out with their Ultra Satin liquid lipsticks. They had the Ultra Matte back in 2015. So they came out with their Ultra Satin, which I absolutely loved the formula and the way they looked on my lips. They were not as drying. And my favorite color that got a lot of love this year was Echo Park. This is just, if I had to recommend the prettiest nude color in the world, in my opinion, it would be Echo Park right there. It's just so pretty. It's not too overwhelming. You could dress it up, you could dress it down, you could wear it to work, you could wear it to the grocery store, you could wear it out clubbing, you could wear it anywhere. It's just such a beautiful shade. The formula is so beautiful, and it is not very drying like the Kylie, I can't even talk, like the Kylie liquid lipstick. It's not as drying. It's actually, and I prefer the Ultra Satin formula as well. So yeah, that's Echo Park by Colourpop. But again, Colourpop had a great year with their liquid lipsticks again. And my favorite liquid lipstick brand out of all of them, in my opinion, is TheBalm. I think that TheBalm is just so underrated. I feel like I've said this a million times, but their Meet Matte Hughes line of liquid lipsticks, they're just so great. I wish they'd come out with more shades, to be honest with you. But first off, I'll talk about the color. This color is the shade Sincere, and I wore this shade the most. And I think we're seeing a trend here. All these are nude colors. They're very similar looking, but that's Sincere right there. Now, the formula for TheBalm liquid lipsticks, they're just so creamy, but they dry matte. They are not drying at all. I mean, eventually liquid lipsticks are going to get drying, but in terms of formula, when you put these on, they're just so creamy, and I love the way they smell, and they just dry so beautifully, and I love the consistency of them, and they last a really long time. So if you have never tried liquid lipsticks before, I would highly recommend the TheBalm ones. Start there. You could use your Kohl's Cash. But for 2016, I continue to just keep, they came out with a few more shades in 2016. I'm actually wearing the shade Devoted today on my lips. But again, they're just excellent liquid lipsticks, and I absolutely love them. And for 2016, they were, I pretty much gravitated toward any shades that line carried. But again, I just wish they'd come out with more shades. So I would highly recommend Meet Matte Hughes in a nutshell. So last but not least is palettes. I tried to narrow the palettes down. I narrowed it down to 4. It was really hard. 2016 was the year of palettes. Every single brand had to just keep coming out with palettes everywhere. Eyeshadow palettes, highlighter palettes, blush palettes, you name it. 2016, in my opinion, it's just like, please stop coming out with palettes, because they're so expensive and I need to save my money. But anyway, so first off, the Glow Kits by Anastasia. I believe the first one, That Glow, came out, I want to say it came out in early spring, I want to say, or it might have came out at the end of 2015. I'm not sure. But these Glow Kits for 2016 were everywhere. They're absolutely beautiful. This is the Sun Dipped one. I have That Glow as well. But just when I thought that like these two were enough, there was another one that she originally came out with as well, with the That Glow one. Then she came out with the Sun Dipped one, and I'm like, all right, the shades are really similar, but you know what? I'm a sucker for this. I'll get it. But then she just didn't stop. Like, there are probably like 3 or 4 other highlighter palettes from her since this one was released, and they just don't stop coming out. But anyways, these Glow Kits are so beautiful, and they're perfect for travel. And what I like about them, besides all the highlight colors, is these dark shades that she includes in the palettes. Most of them have it. That Glow has it as well as this one. But these like bronzy, shimmery shades are great, because in the summer what I like to do is I like to apply it to my chest area, and then on the tops of my shoulders, and then anywhere else in my body. And when the sun hits, you just look like you have that sun-kissed, you know, you just laid in the sun. But for the year of 2016, these glow kits were everywhere, and I honestly understand why, because they're absolutely stunning. Okay, so 2016 was also a great year for Jaclyn Hill. I absolutely love her. So she already had Champagne Pop, but then she collaborated with Becca to bring you the Becca times Jaclyn Hill. Becca and Jaclyn Hill, sorry, not times. Becca and Jaclyn Hill Champagne Collection Face Palette. When this came out, it was just a no, if I can open it, it was just a no-brainer. Like, I need this in my life. It's so beautiful. I love it because A, it includes a mirror. B, it's perfect for travel because you have 3 blush shades, 2 highlighter shades. But the star of the show is not just Champagne Pop, it's Prosecco Pop as well. When you mix these 2 shades together, you get the most beautiful highlight on your cheeks. You can see the tops of your cheeks from outer space when you mix these 2 shades together. They're absolutely beautiful. So for traveling purposes, this palette was great. And for 2016, this palette was everything and more, and it's stunning. I don't think it's still available, but the singles for all of the shades in here are available still. And the blush shades are actually really pretty as well. I need to play around with them a little bit more. But yeah, Jaclyn Hill had an amazing year. Okay, so last are eyeshadow palettes. I narrowed it down to 2. They're both from the same brand. And in my opinion, they both came out in the year 2016 as well, which is great. And in my opinion, they were just the best, and I use them the most. So the first one is the Lorac Pro 3 palette. Just when you think there's enough Mega Pros and Pro palettes, they just keep coming out with them. I'm telling you, these companies are just never going to stop. And they know that girls like us are suckers for buying them. But anyway, so Lorac came out with their 3rd Pro palette, and these colors, I think, honestly, are my favorite out of all 3 Pro palettes. They're just so beautiful. They complement everybody, and I love them too because they're warm colors. They're warm, neutral colors. And enough said, you've got your shimmers on the bottom, and you've got your matte shades. And what I will say about the matte shades is I love the, there's like 4 shades. They give you 4 shades that you can use to blend out in your crease area. These 4 on top. I use all of them to blend in my crease. And I hate when palettes don't include enough shades for your crease area. So that's why I love this palette as well. But this palette is so pigmented. The formulation is out of this world. The Lorac eyeshadows, as I've said a million times, in my opinion, are the best. So that is the Pro 3 palette. And then, sticking with 3, they came out with the Mega Pro 3 palette. This came out, you know, a couple months ago. And what I've mentioned before, the only downfall with these palettes is I wish that they would come out with a different material, because this material, I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but like, it just gets so dirty. I can see all my foundation fingerprints on it, and I just wish, you know, they decided to come out with a different material. But Lorac, they did not disappoint. They came out with their 3rd version of the Mega Pro palette, and this palette is so different, so unique from the first 2, and I think that these colors are just absolutely stunning. You've got a lot of warm neutral shades, which for me, I absolutely love, but you've also got some cool shades and some different shades. Like, I really like these cool, like, blue shades, and you've got, some cool darker shades as well. And overall, I think that anybody can recreate whatever look they want to with this palette. And value-wise, this palette is $59, and this palette is like $40. So it's like you're pretty much getting 2 of these for $59 and not $80. So value, I'd say that this palette is great. The value of it is great. You're getting so many beautiful shades. Now, I will say in this palette, I did notice a little bit more fallout than I did in the Pro palettes, but I just, you know what, the fallout, whatever, it is what it is, because again, these eyeshadows are so worth it. They're just so beautiful in my opinion. They are formulated really well. They blend out so nicely, and they're just so pigmented. So for 2016, Lorac had an amazing year again, because they released both their Pro, Mega Pro and Pro 3 palettes, and of course, I'm a sucker for them. So that is it for my Best in Beauty for 2016. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And I really can't believe we're headed into another year. I hope you guys all had an amazing 2016. I definitely did. I got married this year, and I know 2017 is going to be a great year as well. And I hope you're all excited for the new year. But anyways, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.